Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cemetery Road. I know I'm like a minute or so late. Because I was watching Joe Vital's Seven Entity Paranormal live stream, and then I had my own episode. I was kind of like just kind of like lurking and viewing and having a good time. Um, and then like all of that time took up my like preparing for my own live stream. So now we're here, guys. I'm so excited to hang out with you guys. I know it's been a while, but I've been super busy with everything. And I'll explain that as we go through this live stream because what we're talking about is kind of like why I've been busy, and then like what is coming up next, because there's a lot coming up next, and the reason why there is a lot is because, guys, I feel like I've been in a stage of my life where all the things that like really are going to be like renewing my energy have been put on hold because of real world things. But you know what's not real world things? You know what really invigorates myself? The people that I have met and dealt with in this journey that is YouTube and paranormal uh stuffs, be it. And that is these guys, Weeping Willow Paranormal. That is Cassie and the Canadian Bacon, Ron. And boom, Joe, who just
Whoa,
had a live
Joe!
stream.
Joe, what in the
Um,
world? Who
Joe and
let that guy
Dawn,
in?
his significant other, she's busy. She's actually got to get some sleep. So she's in the chat, but she may not join us for the actual episode, but like show her some love as well. And if you are a team rewatch kind of folk, go over to his channel, watch their live stream. It was really fun. I was there. I was eating pizza in my kitchen, watching uh, Joe and Dawn talk about their adventures, their channel, what they've got planned for the future, which, spoiler warning, involves me as well. And now we're all here. Crow may join later. He's a little busy right now, but he sends his love and support. Go watch him. Again, guys, team rewatch is a big thing. I know these live streams, you're like, oh, I missed the live. That doesn't mean you can't watch the live streams. Go back, watch the live streams. You can put up the chat, like the while it was happening chat kind of thing, and you can kind of follow along on the journey. But like team rewatch helps our channels a lot because we know we go live, we're doing things when a lot of our audience is just like they're busy, they're at work, they're doing stuff. But you can support the channel by watching what we do. Team rewatch does not mean team we missed it all. It just means team we're going to support you whenever we can. So, Cassie and Ron, how are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Very good.
And Joe, how are you, sir?
I've been good, busy editing.
Yeah, Joe B being Joe B being busy. I was trying to throw too many B's all at once. Joe B being busy because Joe, like, if you don't know what Joe does, Joe is doing documentary film investigations, which is a lot of work, a lot of ton of stuff. But like he did that, and now he's doing his own personal stuff on his channel. I want to say you've got like in the bucket like at least 4 locations, and then like a couple more on top of that. Like you're seriously hitting locations, editing those things, getting them ready, planning more locations, going to those locations. So if you are following Joe's channel, you're about to get hit with a flood of content as he starts releasing the stuff he's currently editing.
Yeah. Ashmore, Anderson Hotel, Rhodes Hotel with the Monroe House. We have the Conjuring House, Bel Air House, Brushy Mountain. I think I'm missing one.
I know you are. Like you just have so much stuff going on. Plus, I'm going to be meeting up with you guys in Texas. You and Dawn are going down to Texas. You've invited me to hang out with you. I'm going to go down there for at least one night to do an investigation with you, which will be our first investigation together.
Right.
Is it's weird because me and you have been interacting for a while, but we only like met personally like one time. When we were at an
Twice.
event in Virginia City, it was the first time meeting
Yeah.
up with you because I was
Twice actually,
yeah,
but we
it
didn't
was
really,
twice.
we didn't really interact too much. Yeah, I did miss one, the
And
Euro Shrine. um,
yeah,
yeah,
it was a thing where like I've met up with Matt, who's someone you've collaborated with a ton. And so I knew him,
Sorry.
and because we all went to the same location, it was like, "Oh, this is Joe," and I was like, "I recognize Joe because I've watched your stuff." And so we interacted, and actually at that event, we actually tried to investigate together. Like you guys were doing an investigation one of the nights at this event, and you were like, "Hey, you want to come?" And I was like, "I would love to, but I can't because I'm doing other stuff." Because it was like 3 nights, and I had no time, and so we didn't get to. But me and you got to interact enough that we got on a good chatting relationship. And you've invited me to come with you and Dawn to investigate a location in the next couple weeks. And so like that's going to add to what this channel is doing in terms of what I'm doing with Ron and Cassie, what I'm doing with Joe, what I'm doing just with my cemetery videos. So guys, when I said things are happening on this channel, like a lot of things are happening on this channel, because you're going to be getting more cemetery videos. You're going to be getting a behind the scenes road trip tour type stuff with Ron and Cassie.
I can't wait
Um,
for
we're
that.
going to be getting some like a spin-off series of Ron talks about barbecue, because we're going to be hitting some barbecue. I'm going to be hooking up with Joe and Dawn to do some paranormal investigation. Me, Cassie, and Ron are going to be hitting a spooky location or two as well on our trips. So the channel's going to blow up. I know it's been kind of quiet here for a couple months, but it's just because I've been super, super busy and haven't been able to get out as much as I would like. But the stuff I'm going to be doing over the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to blow the channel up in terms of the amount of content I'm able to bring you guys also. And I am promising this, and this is a outside of my comfort zone, guys. I'm just putting that out there. Um, Members to this channel are going to be getting Jason Goes to the Ren Fair videos. I want to express that.
Interesting.
Members of this channel are going to be getting Jason Goes to the Ren Fair videos, because Ren Fair season is upon us. The Ren Fair that I like to hang out at for like 5 weeks. It's a long-term Ren Fair every weekend. I'm going to be going, I'm going to be filming, and I'm going to be releasing it for members on this channel. So if that's something that interests you at all, throw a membership my way or two. We'll see how that goes. But I thank you guys all for the support you show our channels. I know we've been interacting a lot. Myself at Cemetery Road, with Cassie and Ron at Weeping Willow, with Joe, with Doof Doof Paranormal, with the New Reality, with all these people that our channels really like reach out to. We've worked with, we respect. You guys all, I recognize the names in all their chats, in the chats we do for the live streams, all that kind of stuff. The support you guys give our channels in terms of subscribing, team rewatch, becoming members, throwing out super chats, all that kind of stuff, like that is a huge thing for these channels, because what we are doing is we all have jobs, we all have rent and car payments and bills and all that kind of thing to pay for you guys to support our channels in this way, in any little way, watching later, watching live, commenting on every single episode, like all of that stuff really supports what we're doing, supporting the thing that you love us doing, and we appreciate you guys so much. That being said, I don't want to make this live stream like super long, crazy, all that kind of thing. But what I do want it to make is yours. So if you have any question for myself in terms of cemetery projects, stone cleaning, paranormal investigation, that's great. but also throw some love and questions towards Cassie and Ron and their investigations, Joe and his endeavors. Anything at all you want to know. If you want to know what our favorite barbecue place is, great. If you want to know what kind of spectral energy that we fear, great. If you want to know how we go about booking haunted locations for our channels, great. Anything and everything goes, guys. We are here to provide you with our adventures and also help you if you want to have your adventures as well. So throw the questions in the chat. One of us will answer you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm going to stop talking. Cassie and Ron and Joe, all three of you guys plus some went on an investigation here not too long ago, an adventure, if you will. My question is, with so many people joining in that adventure, what did you notice about other people's investigative styles that you were either like, oh, that's not how I do it, or I would like to introduce that into my style as well? Like, what did you see that was so different?
I honestly, Joe, I don't know. I think the styles were actually quite similar.
Similar in a sense. I don't think it was like there was nothing where I was like, it matched really well.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we all kind of just worked together. I felt like I didn't really feel like there was like
there wasn't really anything
there was no situation where you were like, okay, we want to go in quiet and nice, and we're gonna
such thing as
this thing. And Joe was like, no, I got fireworks in the back. Like we're gonna go crazy here, bro.
There's no such thing as quiet in the Conjuring house. Any little move you make, it makes noise.
Oh my!
About the only difference, to be honest, was somewhat of the approach, how Cassie approaches. Cassie approaches, and this isn't negative at all. Is more loving. Is the best way that I could put it. Like more of a motherly
very
approach.
Considerate. Yeah.
Which, I mean,
non-threatening, I guess, would be the most like clinical term for it. It's a non-threatening way of investigation.
Yeah. Cassie will like, hey, can you do this? And it sounds so like motherly and stuff. And then there's me.
We know that Joe has dealt with like some people being like, just punch me in the throat.
Yeah. Throat punch me. But
Cassie's
then here's
not
me
going in with that.
Here's me, and I don't mean to, but I sound maybe a little more aggressive in such a way, but I don't mean to. But other than that, I wanted Cassie to kind of just lead the investigation. I had been there multiple times anyways, and I wanted Cassie to kind of lead it. Whatever she wanted to do, that is what we'll do. I think, we talk about like a lot of the gear and stuff, and I'm not big on that stuff. But if I'm investigating people who do use like all the REM pods and all the other stuff, use it. I'm not going to tell you no. Like, why would I tell anybody no? Don't use something. And it's not to say that there's no communication whatsoever going on. There could very well be. I just prefer to kind of stay away from that because there's no way to validate that kind of thing. Cassie, she wanted to use her music box. Have at it. I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'm like, did I? I don't remember.
We set it up. Yeah.
I forget. Yeah. You know what? I forgot that you actually had it. And when I was editing, like, oh yeah, she had the music. I forgot about that.
Upstairs around the chimney.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the things, like when it comes to like gear, when it comes to using so much gear, we're talking like REM pods, SLS cameras, night vision cameras, audio recorders, like all the thing you see on every channel. It really comes down to like trusting that equipment and like the validity of what they are giving you in the end. And I think there's so much, just too many question marks of if they are reliable or not, if they're giving you true stuff. And I think honestly, all of us have been on enough investigations that we have created considerable uh, trustworthy doubt in every piece of equipment that we've had. That I think that, it's fair to use the equipment to set a baseline, but never trust the equipment in that is that it's going to control your investigation, if you will. And for my channel, I know if you guys have watched my investigations, I go very bare bones. I honestly, for the most part, will just trust my own self and just hope that I've garnered enough trust that you guys will trust that when I say something is happening, that you're like, I feel like he does truly believe he feels that. Whether or not you believe in what I'm saying is one thing or the other, but like, I hope that I've garnered enough trust that you are like, I trust that that's what he thinks is happening. But I'm never going to say, like, I used an SLS camera, it showed me a stick figure, so now I believe in ghosts and they are real. I one of the things I love about Joe and Joe's approach to investigating is that he's very clinical. He's very like scientific method. I'm not going to just blindly trust a random thing just because someone told me like this detects ghosts kind of thing. And what I love about Cassie when she investigates is she really focuses on her physical and mental awareness of the situation. And I trust her opinion when she says, like, I feel something. I am aware of something, and I will pay way more attention to that because I trust her. And that's what you got to really focus on when you go into YouTube. When you go into YouTube paranormal investigation, guys, is you really have to develop a trust of people if they are talking about technical aspects of paranormal investigation, if they're talking about physical, emotional aspects of paranormal investigation. Really find the people you trust and focus on them, and then just keep an open mind about everything else, because there's so many people out there who are just blindly doing things physically or technically.
So, I know one time Cassie had said, I heard something. Did you guys hear that? I didn't actually hear it, but I knew if she says she hears something, you better go back and listen.
Yeah, and maybe she heard a raccoon. You never know. But we trust Cassie enough. I think if there's at least, like, in this live stream, there's 4 people here. If 3 people are going to be like, well, if Cassie says she heard something, we're going to stop and investigate that.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Literally in the basement.
Because we trust that she's not going to be like, oh, I heard a bird. Maybe it was a ghost. Like, no, Cassie's going to bring it to our attention that she heard something that she, one, cannot identify, and she truly feels like is something that should be paid attention to. Is that Cassie saying, I heard a ghost? No. It is Cassie saying, like, this is something we should point our attention to. And I think that's a thing in paranormal investigation when we're watching it on YouTube, is people are like way too quick to be like, I heard a ghost. And not like, I heard something. Maybe we should investigate. There's so much non-investigation happening and more reaction happening. And I think that's one of the things where I can't watch YouTube videos of paranormal investigation, because there's too much reaction and not enough actual, like, well, let's stop and investigate. Because I think if you did stop and investigate, there's so many channels that would have to be like, yeah, well, turns out Joe kicked a piece of trash on the floor and we all just reacted, and Joe was too embarrassed to say he kicked the thing on the floor. Or, hey, like, this place is infested with rats. And like, all the skittering we're hearing, we're thinking it's something coming up behind us. Or like, literally there's a windstorm outside and we're hearing howling, but like, it's not really ghostly howling, it's just weather howling. But if we say it's any of those things, we're not going to get the views. And I'm like, I think what I would love to tell to our viewers and all the people watching is like, pay attention to that. Be conscientious skeptics when it comes to YouTube and paranormal investigation. Please do not base your belief of the paranormal on just YouTube, folks, because editing is a thing, situational awareness is a thing, and sometimes even our videos can't. We can't push forth the idea like, hey, we were in this place and we think this happened, but like literally there was a storm outside. There was 2 people in a room 4 doors behind us. Be aware.
Yeah.
Just be aware, guys.
If this is a little lead into my next episode I'm releasing tomorrow, so I just finished editing it. I missed
Tomorrow.
your live joke.
So
Sorry.
when are you releasing that tomorrow?
All right.
At 10 p.m. tomorrow. It's part 2, Beck House. You'll see some reactions from me, but then I debunk it right after.
And that's why we respect Cassie. Because it's easy to react in the moment when you are there. And then if you sit there in the edit and you debunk it, or you're like, you react and then you're just like, oh, wait, that was that truck driving by. That was that bird flapping by, like whatever.
That sounds familiar.
There's too many channels out there would be like, cut that out. We will give them the reaction. And then we'll be like, we don't know what it was. So like for Cassie to come out and be like, listen, you're going to see reaction, but we're going to debunk it right after.
Yeah.
That's
I forgot actually
deal,
about
guys.
the part. So I was like, oh, it's pretty funny, my reaction. Might get some jump scares because of how I react.
Jump
But
scares.
literally seconds later, I
it.
realize what it is. So
Yeah. But Jason, just so you know, I'm just here for the booze. See that? That's
Socks.
So, socks. Crew socks.
What are you?
Yeah.
What?
And so when we go on our trip, just so you don't feel left out, sir, I got another pair just for you.
I love it. We're gonna wear them. Okay, so that's a good lead in, guys. I know we're talking about like the legitimacy of paranormal investigation on YouTube and our channels. We absolutely do the best to give you the most honest interpretation of what our investigations are. What's going on this channel, and a little bit of Weeping Willow Paranormal. Follow them. What's going on Joe Vital's? Is it Vital or Vitale?
Vitale.
Joe Vit. We heard it here first. Joe Vitti.
Joe Vitale.
So I'm getting ramped up. I know on this channel I haven't been doing a whole lot because like literally a year ago I got a new job. It's taken up all my time. I used to be able to travel a lot. I can't anymore. I'm going to ramp up a lot of stuff here on this channel in terms of cemetery videos, paranormal investigations, hanging out videos. Like I just want to make content for you guys. What is that noise?
My chair.
I have no idea.
Or it could be Toby
Sounds
snoring.
like someone going crazy. Anyway, Cassie, Ron, and I, the 3 of us, are going on a big trip back to Louisville. A year ago, we ascended onto Louisville, Kentucky with Doof Doof Paranormal, Karen from Australia, to do a bunch of investigations. And honestly, like that was amazing, but I have not had a vacation in a year since then. Like literally that trip was a week before I started my new job. And when I started that new job, they're like, you can't have a vacation for a year. So this is my first vacation since starting the new job. We are going back to Louisville for the sole reason that Louisville is the halfway point between me and them. We're going to I was about to say investigate. We will do an investigation, but the trip is not paranormal based. We're going to be hitting some breweries. We're going to be hitting some barbecue. We're going to be hitting some arcades. We're going to be hitting some music venues, some cemeteries, and we're just going to be hanging out. And I will be filming as much of that as possible. I don't know what they plan on doing with that stuff, but they're going to probably film some stuff as well.
Did you see?
And
Maisie's
we're
comment.
going to have a good flipping time. 2 weeks after that, about ish, I'm going to be hanging out with Joe and Dawn because they've invited me to go on a paranormal investigation, and I will be there at least one night to hang out with them, investigate, and just to have some fun.
You haven't been to that location, have you?
I have not been there, and I have not investigated with you. So, like, it's a double trouble kind of thing. Like, I think we're going to have a
Might be
really
a triple
good time,
trouble.
meeting up, actually just hanging out, and then also investigating for the first time together. And it's always like I said in the beginning of this episode, when you don't know how somebody else investigates, it can be one of two things. It can be very awkward because somebody's just like taking control and going crazy, and it may conflict with the way you investigate, or it may work really, really well. And I feel like me and Joe have a really good mindset of how to investigate. And also, I think Joe goes into it with a very documentary style, truth-based type investigation. And I go into most of what I do with a documentary style, like show it how it is type style. So I think those two kind of things just kind of really meld together in terms of creating complementary styles of content. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in and I'm going to be basically making a documentary of like a road trip / how does Joe do stuff type episode.
Hey, you can ask Cassie and Ron. I don't believe that I was trying to take anything over or anything like that.
That's right. You heard it here first. Joe says he doesn't
back.
believe anything Cassie and Ron did.
Yeah, no,
I believe that because I think even the limited time me and Joe got to hang out in Virginia City, Nevada, like I could get like Joe and crew were more interested in like the reality of what we do versus the sensationalism of what we could do, of what we experience with all the other YouTube paranormal folks. And I think those in the chat can like, oh yeah, no, I totally get it. And that's not saying that the sensationalism type YouTube stuff is bad, but it's not what we do. And I think there's a good argument to being like, your subscription on YouTube should have maybe a little bit of both. Like, we're not going to bash you for like following the sensationalist people, but we definitely want you to know that that's not what we are doing. You really should have a mix of like, hey, let's have some fun and like, let's just be real kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it was like, I mean, from our point of view, working with Joe, it was just
pretty laid back.
Laid back. It was like how we work together, Jason. It was like very like.
Oh, but you said he was a super jerk. Like you said, you would never want to talk. I'm good. Oh no, we're live. Oh, sorry. I got confused.
That could be true too.
No,
it
was.
They
not
were super
literally
excited to hang out with you guys, Joe. Like they were telling me for like weeks and weeks, hanging out with you guys, and I heard nothing. Like I was jealous because I'm like, oh man, that would have been so much fun. Because you guys, if you guys are wondering about Cassie and Ron's content and Joe's content concerning the Conjuring House where they went, they investigated, they had a great time. It wasn't just Weeping Willow Paranormal and Entity 7. You guys had a few other guest folks there as well.
My son and the side-eye guy.
Side-eye guy was there, Seg, if you will. You guys had a good time. You guys did a solid investigation of that location. And I know that's a location, obviously, the Conjuring House. You say that and people are like, oh, crap, Hollywood. It's really nice when you have some solid investigators go and solidly investigate a location like that, because I think there's a lot of places that just get wrapped up in the lore, the urban legend, the Hollywood of it all. It's really nice to have some channels you can go and be like, okay, well, what's the truth? What's it look like if I go there on a Thursday? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all of your guys's content with that, because again, you want to follow Weeping Willow and Joe's channel because you're going to get, while similar, very different sides of that location with how they investigate, what they see, what they experience. And I think that's one of the good things about the community that we've built up between all the channels that not just the three of us have, but like all of our friends, we kind of share, is that you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get very different styles, but similar but different kind of styles of investigation. And I think you can trust that a little bit more, because if we're all doing a little bit something different, but we trust, like, oh, Cassie, like, she's a little different than what I do, but I trust what she does. Joe's a little different, but I trust what he does. Like, that's a big deal. Because I think if you had like 7 guys on a live stream who all do the exact same thing, and they're like, oh no, you should totally trust this guy who does the exact same thing I do. Like, I don't know. Like, what am I? I'm trusting one guy at that point. I think we all bring a little bit different to the investigations. And I think one of the things that I respect about all of the approaches we have is that we all approach it in a way that we're like, there's a deficit in how we investigate, or there's a deficit in how we see the holes in our investigation, in terms of like, I can bring all the science I can, but I still don't know. Like, and Cassie can bring like all the feelings she has, and she's like, I still don't know. Ron's going to bring his skepticism, and he's like, I still don't know. Like, I feel like I believe, but I don't, kind of thing. And I'm the same way. It's when you get those channels and those people who are like, no, it's absolutely real, bar none, prove it, can't, but it's real. Or you get those people who are like, it is absolutely not real, prove it, I can't, but it's not. Like, that's where I have a hard time. I way more trust the people who are like, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna figure it out, or try to figure it out. I'm gonna play around in this. And I feel like our channels are kind of doing that in various similar ways.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if we had seen the Side-Eye Guy's real face. Yeah, but Don and I and Crow.
I have not, but I saw his butt, and listen, it's nothing special. It's a butt.
But Crow, Don and I, he did a live. Side-Eye Guy did a live stream. After the live stream, like, box off. I'm like, okay, well, I guess he trusts us.
Yeah.
And that's also why I didn't do any reviews that have anything to do with the Side-Eye Guy for my members, because there may be something there that I might forget. And there's times when I'm not around and he's roaming around and I got these static cameras. I don't want to be that guy. Although he kind of like, there's no kind of about it. He did expose his face on accident for like a few seconds on his own live stream. So it's usually those guys that end up exposing themselves, their faces anyway. So, but
it's those guys that expose themselves. Wait, you can't say that on the internet.
Their face.
Yeah, no, I respect the guys who are going to be like, I want to remain anonymous, but I want to be a part of the YouTube / commentary generation. Crow is that. I've seen Crow, his face and stuff, so I totally respect his want for privacy. I am of the bunch that I think I would have preferred to stay anonymous if I would have started this in a way, but I didn't. There was no way for me to investigate. I don't think there's any way for someone to really investigate and stay anonymous, because we really need to be there with that person. You need to see that person's face and believe their reaction and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I would have preferred to kind of stay a little bit more anonymous. So I totally respect their decision too. But yeah, I've seen Crow straight
yeah.
up and good looking guy. Doesn't look at all like a hot dog. It's weird. But I just picture him as a hot dog. That's how he's in
Well, even Crow on my live stream, he like accidentally hit a button on his phone and boof, there was his face. And we're like, oh, hey. And it was like the
I want
worst
to
possible
picture
angle
like
ever.
it was his face, like, but from like an awkward angle where he's just like, what?
It was a very awkward angle.
Oh.
I deleted that stream.
But yeah, like, let's just be thankful or respectful of those who choose not to have their face all over the world, choose to keep their lives private, all that kind of stuff. We respect them. We share with you guys what we can. It's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for all the support of this channel. I know it's getting kind of late. I only meant to do this for about an hour, and it's been almost an hour. But I think for this channel specifically, Cemetery Road, if you want to support this channel, you can become a member. You can throw down some super chats. You can do that kind of thing. Supports gas, cleaning supplies, the trips to meet some of these awesome people, which I am going to over the next few weeks. It's crazy how many trips I'm going on after having gone on none for like a year. Because really the last big trip I went on was to hang out with Cassie and Ron and Doof Doof Paranormal in Louisville, and I'm going back. Not so much because Louisville is a magic land of amazingness, but because it's the halfway mark between our two locations.
Yeah.
And I only have a few days. So me, Cassie, and Ron are going to be meeting up for a 4-day adventure supreme of cemeteries, barbecue, breweries, and just whatever next week. And we're
Like
gonna have a
this
good
week.
time.
Technically, we're leaving Saturday.
Well, yeah, we leave Saturday.
Meet up
We
with
leave
Jason.
Saturday.
Leave Saturday, meet up on Sunday.
And we're going to have a good time. There's going to be a ton of content that I'm going to be creating for that, as well as oh, thanks, Miko. Gave me $5. Hot dog money. I'll buy a hot dog. Absolutely. And we're going to be going to cemeteries, and we're going to be going to breweries. I'm going to be filming a bunch of it. I'm going to be making all the content for you guys so you guys can be there with us. I guarantee there's going to be a live stream or 7 while we're going. Be on the lookout for like Instagram. We'll probably be doing a bit of Instagram. Dawn is still in the chat. She says, once Joe moves up here, we'll be in y'all's halfway point. Dawn, you is in the halfway point currently. So when we are near you, I really hope you can join us for at least a dinner. That would be awesome. And then also, I'm going to be joining Joe and Dawn in an investigation aspect in a couple weeks, and I'm super excited for that because I've always wanted to investigate with Joe. I think we'll work well together, and we're going to be in a place with some barbecue. So whoop. So that's going to be fun. So be on the lookout for that with this channel. In terms of Weeping Willow's channel, if you want to throw down a subscription for her, hit that button, that bell, especially so that you know when she goes live, when she's throwing down premieres. Cassie, what do you have coming up in the next couple weeks?
So we have the Beck House Part 2 releasing tomorrow. And then I will have it'll be a Part 3 for the Beck House. I will have a members only video for the Beck House. That'll be in the same time frame. But then I'm hoping by mid-May at the latest, this is my goal, is to have the Conjuring House at least part 1 released. So that's my goal for some mid-May.
And if we have people in the chat right now who have never subscribed to your channel and they're like, oh, Weeping Willow, what should I start with? What is an episode you can point to that says listen, this is the one that's going to show you how I investigate, and this is kind of exciting for me.
I don't even. No one's ever asked me that question. I mean, I have favorite locations.
Well, then throw down one.
Cottonwood Mansion.
I was gonna say Cottonwood Mansion.
All right. So if you're going to subscribe to Weeping Willow right now, go check out Cottonwood Mansion tomorrow. Like, we're giving you some content, guys, to fill in the rest of your week. Cottonwood Mansion with Cassie for her channel, Weeping Willow Paranormal. Plus, me and her have investigated a few locations together. So that's going to be a good time. Jump on that. Joe, I'm going to throw down the same question for you. If people are popping in to which I just can't imagine people are popping in and they just don't know who you guys are. But like Joe, if they're going to be like, I've never even heard of Joe, which episode should I start with? What's a solid spot on your channel that they could throw down and have a good time with?
Monroe House, or even further back, Hales Bar Dam.
Well, there you go. Guys, we're giving you content to watch. We want you guys to have a good week as we prep some more content for you guys. Team Rewatch is a thing on any channel you are a fan of. Don't feel bad for not hitting it live. Hit it, Team Rewatch. Make sure you comment. Make sure you hit those like buttons. It's amazing. This live stream is going to be ending. But again, me and Cassie and Ron are going on an adventure, and I plan on giving you so much content. I know Cassie and Ron will do the same. And then once that's done, I'm going to be meeting up with Joe. I'm going to be meeting up with Dawn. We're going to have ourselves an adventure in Texas as well. We're going to have a good time. Thank you for supporting this channel. It means a ton. I have more cemetery videos coming up. I have more paranormal investigations coming up. It means a ton that you guys would take time out of your lives to watch anything I do. Make sure you subscribe to Ron and Cassie, Weeping Willow Paranormal, as well as Reese. She's the third person in that team who are investigating the Canadian. I'm sorry, where are you a Canadian?
Southern Ontario.
Southern Ontario. What's over in the other side? What are they?
Like you mean of Canada, like Western Canada?
Yes.
Like out west, Western Canada.
Yes.
Western Canada.
Vancouver is in
BC, British Columbia.
British Columbia.
Yeah.
They're the opposite of the British Columbia. She's tackling the east coast of the Americas. She's over there on the east coast of Canada, the Canadian.
Well, kind of. I'm kind of in the middle.
We're in the middle.
You aren't the middle. I'm sorry. You're thinking, when we think America, like, you are definitely East Coast.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, well, there's more.
It takes you 10 minutes to get to Jersey. You are not.
There's further east.
I know. For us, though, there's further east because there's Quebec.
Yeah, because
there's
you go
Newfoundland, Nova Scotia,
more than we do.
Well, if
Anyway,
you consider
don't
middle,
listen
I
to
guess
the
the middle is in
Canadians.
Manitoba.
Canadians
middle is
don't know what they're
Manitoba.
talking about.
We're kind of like in the middle. Like,
We are.
aren't in the
Ontario
middle.
is like,
where
You
is
are
this?
not in the
Ontario.
middle. Montana is
map.
the middle. Anyway, they're doing some great work. They're investigating some super interesting locations. And I know they're kind of ramping up again. Like, for some reason, even though I don't know, there's a season for our investigations. Like, as soon as it starts getting warm again, we're like, all right, let's ramp it up. And then Joe is going crazy. You've got a ton of locations like already done, or like on the you got it in the bag, and you're just editing and you're planning more. Like, we have a ton of content coming your way, guys. So just subscribe away, hit that bell, especially because you never know when we're going to be going live, when we're going to be releasing content. And if we mention channels, it's because we trust that their content is good and legit. So do that too. Anyway, I'm gonna shut us down. I'm gonna close this off. But I think me, Cassie, and Ron are gonna be hooking up.
Well,
Whoa, wait a minute. Hang on.
Whoa, not like that.
Saturday
night. No, calm down. Calm down, you dirty birds.
I don't know if Don should be
Saturday
going
night
to this.
into Sunday.
Yeah.
Over the next week, we will be probably dropping some live bits to tease the episodes we will be coming out with. I'm so excited. It's been too long since we've hung out.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys. You all are all. Yeah, let me try that again. You're all awesome. Cassie and Ron, I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Joe, thanks for hanging out. You're awesome as well. Dawn, I know you're in the chat, so have a good night. Get some rest. You got to work in the morning. Everybody else, stay safe, be respectful, and don't forget, until the next one, have a good one. See you guys later.